totally transforms medicine. There are 1,000 different variables that we can now measure and watch, and not just when we go to the doctor when we're sick.
The reason that we get very excited about wearables, for example, is because now you have a continuous longitudinal like movie every day, every moment, when you were sick, when you were not sick, when you had a fever, when you didn't, and when you had that fever, what preceded the week before, what was your heart rate when you went up the same flight of stairs to get, from the parking lot to work. All of these things you can start measuring. And now that you can measure all of this, one can see when you use AI, which the two things that I think of AI as are pattern recognition. At huge volumes, you can recognize patterns and you can predict things. So when you know what ended up happening, but this time, instead of 4 or 5 data points, you have 4,000 or 5,000, you can see the same people that had the same fever or the same flu or the same, intubation that needed oxygen. You can start to see what changed into what standard deviation, how much in advance, to one day hopefully never need a ventilation because your watch is going off or your ring. Because it's like, this is a 95% chance based on variable of respiratory rate and increased heart rate to where you'd never need to put on emergent oxygen. So that's where the excitement comes. And it takes multiple things. It takes capture, which like wearables and other things are able to do. It takes, machine learning and potentially deep learning to have to kind of make sense of this objective data. I think a lot of it can be accomplished without deep, maybe, I don't know. And then now that's the preventative world we're talking about. Because you're not going in there to talk about the problems or when they ask you to your problems, you're going to know about problems that you don't even know you have. That's the key, are the problems under the surface that are present somehow phenotypically, but just not symptomatic.
But that's completely 180 degrees from how all of medicine was. We built the foundation of medicine, right? And so to your point, this is that, what does it take to overcome this, or how long does it take to unwind? We've been hardwired for this exact system. It's what I talked about. It's not that it's broken, it's functioning exactly. And we're at that inflection point of, okay, now we have these capabilities. Do we embrace them? Do we crush them? And CMS is leaning towards we embrace them. They have, reimbursement now for remote patient monitoring, remote therapeutic monitoring, that kind of stuff. So we are seeing that they're open to this, but it totally transforms medicine, to your point, because there are 1,000 different variables that we can now measure and watch, and not just when we go to the doctor when we're sick, because it's the 95% of the other time we're not sick that we can start to see the symptoms of progression or something happen.
Yeah, like we go to the doctor to find out what pending, sickness or chronic disease or whatever that we're trying to avoid. We're going to get told what our future problems could be without XYZ. And that is wild.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah. And you said it best. I like what you said. You're like, what we have is a product, or the system we have today is a product of what we had. And those are the only tools you had. You have new tools. Now, what does the product look like based on what we have today? And that just was never possible before. So it's crazy to think otherwise.